I just want to reiterate something that I'm sort of writing about. Just reiterate really strongly, as a representative of the Fourth Quartile Freedom Party. The reason the Fourth Quartile are hated is because we give the lie to the pyramid. But it's quite factual. Mathematically, pyramids cannot work as a supply system. Work it out, sit down, work out what happens to commissions as they go down the layers. What happens in actual fact, since subtly Europe and America have built the top part of the pyramid, probably Russia as well, top part of the pyramid in our visible portion of land mass, but the bottom part of the pyramid is unseen. And what is told us is that, oh, these silly nations can't organise themselves together. But that's a lie. The lie is the three-letter agencies of the UK, the three-letter agencies of the Pentagon have worked for years to destabilise the bottom ends of the pyramid, so they are dependent and they are supplying up the chain at very cheap prices. That's how it works. That's how it works. It's a complete lie. So we're swanning around in Europe and America and, I don't know, parts of Russia at least, on this false principle that we've somehow got it together. But we haven't got it together. It is just an elaborate set of mathematical layers. So that's important. But more than that, the Fourth Quartile are hated because the spirit that builds this pyramid we uncover as false, artificial, manipulated, wheedling. We can tell from the spirit someone speaks. Because the Spirit of God is me for somebody else, me for others, me in agape, me without a hard shell and a crystallized, expressionless face in a London tube, and someone who's actually alive. Yeah? So, and me just sort of addressing this quite loudly and rudely is typical of the Fourth Quartile, because we're slamming a spirit. We're not slamming a personality. It's quite good here because, you know, you can watch it or not. But we're slamming a spirit. It's a deception. It's a lie. The spirit you live in is really fear, is a visceral terror, and that makes you clutch on the heels of your next layer up. So nobody has addressed ever in our posh land, give us this day our daily bread. Don't need to. We clutch the heel of the next bastard above us. So this is why the Fourth Quartiles are hated. We don't live in pyramid. We were born living in a thing called tabernacles. That's how we live. Doesn't matter whether we're born again, doesn't matter what our belief system is. This is stamped upon our being. So as creators, as people who address inward things, philosophize, whatever our writings are, whatever paintings we paint, whatever things like that, this is who we are. We do not live in your pyramid. We can try, we can look as though we do, but we are tabernacles. We are roof with holes. We curate spirit. We curate reality. Spirit is reality. We curate reality. You curate a temporal set of outer circumstances that can be changed at any moment. So this is why you hate us. And this is why we're coming out. We're coming out because the pyramid doesn't work. It's crumbling around us. And we're saying there's another form of life, but we've got to find it. Russell Brand is saying that. Dan Aston Gregory is saying that in his Elevation group. Obviously, New Age is saying that in the sense you've got to rise to this new set of surroundings. And that's what we are. We're just people who speak in truth. We're coming out of those dark corridors you put us into. You are gaslighting us. We know, we see you bastards. You're trying to pretend that we don't exist because you don't like being reminded that pyramids don't work. That's what you're doing with us. I'm naming the process. 2025, I'm bringing it right out in the open. This is what you foul guys are doing. And we're saying pyramids do not work. We're saying Africans exist on $5 or less a day. We're saying we need another structure. As a Christian, I'm preaching the third level. I'm preaching the body of Christ. I'm preaching ecclesia, which is so different from ecclesiastica, which has a stick in it. Anyone who's born again and has a living relationship with Jesus Christ doesn't need to live in insane amount of layers and hierarchy and Anglican churches and Catholic churches and Orthodox churches, or even in a Fort Lauderdale modern church on the high street that was made 50 years ago. We preach ecclesia. We live ecclesia. But that's as a Christian. New Agers express things in different ways. You know, new truthers. However people are saying it. But there's many that are humanitarian. They're not particularly spiritual. They just know that love works best. And they might be very humanitarian. However it works, people are seeing, no, the pyramid doesn't work. And God did say, yet once more will I shake the heavens and the earth as of things that can be shaken. Because most of it can't. Most of it can't. It's genuine. God created that. The things that can be shaken are all derivatives of Genesis 3. The lie that was told us in the beginning. The fantasy lie of a middleman that can swan around and be absolutely independent and not be controlled by a glove puppet up his bum, which is Satan. It's not the Gothic Satan. This is the tree of good and evil Satan, who will do anything but just not the throne of God. He'll go to that side. He'll go to that side. When God's doing work with the blacks and the whites simultaneously from a podium 100 years ago, Satan is building KKK through Albert Pike. Now it's all safe and God's firmly established things anyway, and it's not particularly the case in point right now. God's doing other things right now. Satan says, oh, it's okay, I'll come and do Black Lives Matter now. Because the actual now time for God to establish something is not now. So Satan thinks, oh, it's okay to come in now. I'll do my Black Lives Matter. Except I'm going to do it like criticising race theory. And everybody falls for it. Fourth quartiles don't. Because we recognise the spirit from the moment someone opens their mouth. Matthew, Mark's and Luke's don't recognise it. Well, Matthew's, I think, a bit sharper. My observation is that Mark's are also quite sharp, because when something doesn't sound like love, in fact right now they'll say that what I'm saying is not loving because it's not in a loving voice. And Mark's have made an idol they bow down and worship every day, which says love is king. But sometimes it isn't king because we're addressing demons. But Mark's can't understand that. Matthew's, however, are very black and white, and so some of them see this straight away. Some of them saw COVID straight away. Fourth quartiles all saw the COVID thing coming. We didn't even need to wait for it. We were there on the information about 10 years, 15 years ago. So when it arrived, it was so obvious. So moving into a time of four woods. How do I know that? That's what has been prophesied by Jews every year since, I think it's around 1500. Is it 1500? Or is it 1700? I think it's 1500 when the law was given, I think. And every year, Jews, they haven't really understood what they're doing because this was from God. This is a revelation from God. He got them doing a Passover. He got them doing Pentecost, their version of Pentecost, which is an old covenant form of Pentecost. And he got them doing tabernacles. And he got them living like it. He actually got them living like it. He didn't have to do a thing. Manna falling in the morning, quail falling in the evening. And he got them living tabernacles. And so that when they went into the land, they were already semi there. They semi knew what they were doing. But that was a historic stamp, and they've continued doing that for centuries. I don't think they really, really understand it in the Holy Spirit. I don't think any of us do. It's all brand new. But it's got 4 words. I mean, that's sheer genius, isn't it? God saying all those thousands of years ago, no, you've got to do it with 4 words, and it's got to have holes in. And saying, why have we got to have holes in? Well, it's because it's the exact opposite of pyramids. Where we all have a connection with the divine, where we all have a connection with God, or whatever you call him. Initially, I mean, you've got to test these things out. You haven't got to listen to some mad freak going, you must believe in God. The purpose of us living here in this life is that we test things so that we're happy. And I feel happy now, having tested. I mean, my big test was when I was 12. I thought Methodism clearly doesn't work. I'll become an atheist. And then God gradually started teaching me what real Christianity is about and how it works. But whatever you say, the initial thing that most people are going through is the reawakening that, Darwinism, Marxism and Nietzsche weren't correct. There is spirit. We are spirit beings. There is a rising in the spirit. We were told complete lies. And even the physical aspects of each cell of our body is tripartite, or got similarities in the way it's sort of constructed with the heavenly tabernacle. That's, and so many things people are finding out about DNA, about genomes, about our genome, about everything, is a mirror of things that, you sort of slap your head and you go, oh, right. Anyway, that's the point of this talk, is that 4th quartile, this will be worse than gays, 4th quartiles are coming out of the closet. People hate us. That's why we've hidden. Absolutely hated us. We had to mirror a Matthew or a Mark or a Luke that we were talking to. We had to become so skilled at it that you never knew 4th quartiles existed. Apart from maybe a flash pianist, flash guitarist, flash playwright or whatever. So, someone that's extremely obvious. But the fact is, 1/4 of us are. That's the truth. Myers-Briggs won't agree to that. They don't want you knowing. Or perhaps the original Myers-Briggs people did, but because it's now been doctored and put into business, they've doctored it so that, there's only 3 per million. There's only 3 per... Have a look at the Psycho profile on YouTube. I think they say they're about 3 per million. Because nobody wants anybody to know they're 1/4 of the population, because that would destroy pyramids this week. Do you understand that? We're in a conspiracy. We're in a conspiracy of silence about anything to do with spirituality and anything to do with who we really are as persons. Matthews aren't here to build pyramids. They don't tell them that. Matthews are here to organise things and work within the tabernacle's frameworks. And they get bored anyway. They build a pyramid and they get bored because they know inwardly within themselves all they've done is move something around mathematically, which you can do in the first week. We'll put you at the head, to you under the layer, you under the layer in that, you under the layer, and they get dead bored. They sit around their businesses and they think, well, what should I do then? Because it's all done. Structurally, isn't it? If all they're going to do in life is build a mathematical pyramid, then they can go out to play golf the next week. And they're just sensing within themselves it's a lie. And they get depressed. Or they move on to another business. But it's because they've never actually engaged with what Tabernacle's infrastructure, which is a simultaneously co-working thing across 4 woods, is. And a meme of that is moving from Elvis Presley to the Beatles. So every track is engineered, produced, written totally uniquely and absolutely inspired by the 4 people. That was the theory. It's probably Max Adorno and George Martin. But that was the theory. But you get the idea. I think it's to give us an idea of what moving from Elvis land and superhero land and American, I'm here to save the day, into real life. And real life is this cooperative, it's a living entity, which is described in the 4 woods thing. It's something that builds itself. And this is in what Ephesians 4 is as well. The church was meant to be pioneering all this. They weren't meant to be waddling around in posh uniforms in Catholic churches and Anglican. There was meant to be no penguin costume. There's nothing about a penguin costume in the Bible. What we're meant to have designed and showed as, because we're called the pillar and ground of truth. For 2,000 years, we're meant to be showing the people of the world, look, it's pretty similar to what the Jews were in, except through Jesus, who has now become, I've forgotten the word. He is amongst us. He is near us. He is present. And because he's come to be near us in the new covenant, everything's up a gear. It's basically the same sort of idea, but it's up a gear. And we're meant to have been demonstrating that. Instead, we have these silly Methodist churches, silly Anglican churches, silly URC churches, they're basically synagogues for rabbis. Jesus didn't come to build rabbis. He said, call no man rabbi. So what do? Yes, we will. No, we're in something different. And we're doing something different. And if we're not going to do it, the New Agers, other people will do it anyway. Dan Aston Gregory will do it. Russell Brand will do it. If they can't be asked up and down the high streets of Britain, if they just want to carry on their endless stupidities in little boxes separated every 200 metres, let them! If that's what they want to do in their life. They are called to be the pillar and ground of truth. Literally, bridgehead of an incoming kingdom. But if that's all British people want to do, stuff them! That's what Jesus more or less said in that parable. If the sons of the kingdom don't want the invitation, just go out anywhere. Just go out into the hedge. You go in the roadways, go in the homeless, just get them in. Get them in. They don't know what they're going on about. Jews don't know what they're going on about. Anglicans don't know what they're going on about. Catholics are absolutely ridiculous. Just go out to the hedgerows. Just grab them by the scruff of the neck. Let them come in. This is Bible. Only when we read it in black and white, it wasn't Chris Welch speaking with a loud voice. But I bet he did. We're not in a religious thing. We're in God reality. Or if it's not that, for you it might be just spirit reality. However you call it, we're in something that's real. It's not messing around religion. It's not trying to be something. It's who we really always were. But we're not going to get sidetracked in this stupid Genesis 3 lie. I hope, I don't know if you're grabbing any of that, Donna. Anyway, whoever sees this, let's grab this and run.